This is a real mask off moment for conservatives, and I really feel like more people need to be talking about it. When conservatives use anti-woke to respond to allegations of eugenics in the Sydney Sweeney commercial, how am I supposed to interpret this as anything else but that woke and anti-woke was always just a way to uphold white supremacy? Woke has been their buzzword to use when anyone who's not a cis straight white man gets representation in media or in, commercials or whatever. If I look at this commercial, there's four categories that woke typically is used to refer to. For cisgender, there's no reason to think that Sydney Sweeney is trans or this commercial is in some way talking about trans people. Straight, well, there's only one person in it, and there's no reason to think that it's implying anything about not being straight. Uh, Woman is interesting because they're now using anti-woke to talk about a woman having representation, whereas if there's like a woman in a role that they believe a man should be in, that's woke. Maybe because this is a woman playing her traditional role in society, which is an object. They're okay with taking the side of this commercial because it's about a woman's physical attractiveness being her value. I don't know. And so that only leaves white. If this commercial has been accused of being a dog whistle for eugenics, and eugenics is the practice of selecting members of the population with more desirable traits to reproduce to pass those desirable traits down, they're saying that being white is a desirable trait. Now, it would be one thing if they were saying, I'd rather be white because there are systemic disadvantages to non-white populations of people, and I'd rather be white because it would make my life easier. That would be one thing. The problem is the Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk never want to acknowledge that systemic racism or white privilege exist. So I know that they're not talking about it in that way, which means the only way they talk about it is I'd rather be white because white is superior. How is this not a direct admission that calling things woke and anti-woke as a bad and good thing, respectively, is always about trying to uphold white supremacy? And if you don't believe me, let's do a little thought experiment. What if it was a black woman in that commercial with the exact same script? If anyone's going to detect that there may be a dog whistle for eugenics in it, well, it would probably be conservatives because they are convinced that people are trying to erase white genes, which is not happening. And they'd be saying, look, this woke commercial is talking about eugenics, which tells me that they're for eugenics when it's being used to preserve whiteness and white genes, but they'd be against it if it was being used to preserve black genes. How is this not white supremacy?